Oh, hello, camera. You're pointed in the completely wrong direction. There we go. Hi. I don't think my microphone's picking it up. But of course, the second I hit live, the upstairs neighbors decided to start, like, blasting some music, and it's very loud, and I can hear it past my headphones. But like I said, it doesn't look like it's getting picked up by the microphone, so we're gonna call that good. I'm gonna remember how to sit at a desk, and maybe play some Neopets today. I'm hoping that we can maybe get through it today, but as I'm thinking about it, there might be a little more after it than what I actually thought I remembered. But that's fine. We'll get there, is the long and short of it. Yeah, I was kind of annoyed that I couldn't stream during the week, but everything got busy. Everything happened. And you know, we dealt with it. We handled it. But it wasn't fun and I didn't like it. But we're here now. I did, like, reconnect my camera to see if that was gonna help with the whole, like, freezing issue. Here's hoping. But that means that I wiggled it around, and so nothing is framed as it should be. But that's fine. Hey! Y'all wanna play the silly little video game? Hi, Devo. And now Devo has decided that it is time to scream. Right, we're in Fairyland again. And I am a little annoyed about that, because there was shit that I still wanted to do down in Meridell, but hopefully we'll be able to go back, because I wasn't able to turn in any of my god dang quests. I like that you can still purchase those, despite the fact that no one is there. Do I have to re-reveal the tower? No, it is still there. Cool. I just want to see if there's anything worth purchasing. You know how it is. But yeah, it's been kind of a wild... it's been a wild week, really. Fairy dress. What does it look like? Aww. Well, now she's got a whole matching outfit. Isn't that lovely? I don't want... No, get down from... No! I didn't mean to buy that. What does a golden egg do? Do you remember? Well, it's not in my inventory, so it's a health and mana thing. Never mind. I remember. Okay. Well, glad we went in there. Sorry, my brain is, like, fully non-functional today. Just like everything. Every dang thing occurred. Okay, I can't go in there. Which, like, just like on all fronts. Work, house, social stuff, and kind of just like, I don't know. Left me incredibly tired, but like, I've been looking forward to stream. So if I'm low energy like I was last weekend, that's why. What do I do? Where am I going? Or what is the plan here? We just have to save Queen Fiora, but I couldn't. Okay, let's just leave the library, I think. I couldn't go through the front door. Do I need to go back to where I was? Where the secret tower was? Is this what's going on? I'm gonna try this door one more time, even though I just did. No, not allowed to go in there. Okay. We know now. We have reconfirmed. I say we know now. If I go back a third time, and then it lets me in, I will actually scream. And I'll let the upstairs neighbors think it's because of them. At least it's a weekend in the middle of the day. Okay. Game. Where do I go, buddies? I don't think it's up here. Unless there's like a surprise key up here. Which, you know, doesn't really feel correct, but what do I know? Nope, nada. Okay, can I... Is there something in here that I need? Okay, well... She just wants to talk about customers. I don't care to talk about customers. Go up much further. Yeah. Okay, so this isn't it. Again, if I go to that front door and it lets me in now, we are going to have a problem. And I'm not gonna be happy about it. You know? Okay, I can't open that door. Do I have to do something in the library then? I didn't think there were any other doors. Library? I've already forgotten which building is which. There are two of them. Okay, this is it. And I didn't think that this is where the stairs were, but apparently it is. Here, we'll just ignore everyone. We'll do a little savey save. You know, just to be careful. Are these the eternal stairs? Yeah. Just want me to keep going. And we go down. And we go up. And we go down. And we go down. Riveting stuff, I'm sure. And we go back up. And we go back down. And we've made it. Wonderful. Where am I? Right. Nope, I remember. Okay. See, I wasn't wrong about the stairs being located inside. I don't know if I verbalized that, but also... Rip it and rip it. I do also have my giant bottle of water. Do not fear. Hydration is here. Not that button. I need to go to the right. Okay. Not this place. This place. No? Huh? Okay. They just didn't draw in walls in the map where there are walls, but it's fine. We're out here now, and we go this way. Just kidding. We go this way. I know how to do things. I swear. Okay. Wonderful. Just straight on through, huh? Straight on through, huh? Oh my god, the game keeps like loading in little bits and it freaks out. Alright. There she is.
Queen Fiora, you're free!
This seems fine and normal.
But how?
She underestimated my powers. A mistake I doubt she'll repeat. Excellent. You have brought the wand. If I may have it, please, I will return this one to where she belongs.
Ops.
Surprise, my dear. Thank you for bringing me exactly what I need to destroy this place once and for all. Ow!
Damn.
You're free? But how?
That's
You
what I want to know.
underestimated my powers. It's a mistake I doubt I'll repeat.
Okay, well. What portal? What portal? I don't remember this, like, at all. Where are you shooting? Oh. At that. Are there multiples of those? No, there's just that one. Well, I'm not trying to... Oh my gosh. Well, I'm trying. Lights must be red. Get him out of here. What? There we go. Jordana? Is that what she said? Kind of just skipped over that.
Find Jordana. She'll know what to do. Go!
Ups!
Jordana is dead. 1,000 years dead. No sense in taking any chances, though.
Well, she did a bad job. Can't believe she was so bad at that. Okay, this is more along the lines of what I remember.
Oh, ow, oh. Ugh, I hurt.
Where are we? Are we dead?
Can't be. Oh. I hurt too much to be dead.
Then where are we?
And you put Roberta in the wrong clothes.
I knew you had the potential to be a great hero.
You!
I'm sorry I couldn't aid you further.
Who are you? And where are we now?
This is Altidore. You are in the Hall of Heroes. The answers you seek lie here.
Altidore? The same Altidore that the Darkest Faerie destroyed?
She is powerful, but there are greater powers than even she knows. The answers you need are here, but you must decipher them.
Okay, bye! Later! Sad that I have... I don't want to call it a bad one, because it was pretty great, but I'm sad that I lost the one that I had. Okay. Just take a peek at the map. It is just square. It's just a square. Nothing to worry about that. Colored stone. Wonderful. Any other bits? More bits. Any other bits? More moats. I forgot how like many of those they actually give you. Here I was being like early on, just being like, oh, you know, I don't want to waste all of them. But, you know, we kind of got a few. And yet, we find even more. Buddy. This is about to say, I don't know if I've like gone all the way around. I've kind of stopped paying attention. But that answers that question. And also, give me the treasure. Let's go. Keep trying to use circle to back out of the menu. That's just not correct. Like, at all. Okay, is this the last side? Or I think I've been here. I vaguely remember these statues. Okay, let's... Where am I supposed to put these? Here. Excuse me. Great! We did it.
This is amazing. It's a detailed account of the beginning of Altador's empire. Apparently, a very long time ago, these lands were overrun by terrible monsters. 12 heroes arose and joined forces to defeat these monsters and create Altador. The city grew into a vast empire that lasted thousands of years. Then something went horribly wrong. About 1,000 years ago, one of these heroes broke her sacred bond and tried to conquer all of Altador. She could corrupt things, Neopets and places, and the empire started to crumble. She became known as the Darkest Faerie.
She was destroying us. In a desperate bid to save Altador, our sorceress, Jordana, twisted time itself. As the Darkest Faerie spread her powers over the city, Altador was sealed away in a bubble of slowed time, completely removed from the world.
So everyone thought Altador was destroyed.
The remnants of her evil still haunt this land, and we cannot root it out.
Can't anything be done?
There is a possibility. The 4 greatest Altador legends have shrines built to them. If the 4 shrines were restored, the legends should awaken, restoring the land and granting aid to those battling the Darkest Faerie.
Then we'll awaken them. Where are those shrines?
And what do we
Why
have to
hasn't
do?
anyone tried this before?
Just be the heroes you are destined to be.
That's my question. If you thought that this might be the solution... I mean, I guess she didn't wake up until recently. But even then, it's like, why wouldn't you want to restore your town? What's the deal with that? Literally nothing. Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, hiccups. You know, I'm supposed to go through the little tunnels. Yes! The little doorways down those stairs, but what if I get treats first? Let me also get rid of that the icon. The silly little icon that tells me I'm doing quests. Yes, game. I know. I know I'm doing quests. I like... This is a part of the game where, like, my memory just gets, like, incredibly fuzzy. Like, I remember it. I remember this whole thing being a thing. But, like... I don't remember jack shit. from this section, like, at all. And I think the last time that I played, like, this last year or the year before or whatever, a couple years ago, whenever it was, like, I don't think I, like, got all the way through. I think I got, like, most of the way. I think I got to the point where I was, like, about to meet up with Kayshurrr, do the bit that we just did, and I just stopped playing. It is possible to put that with that was around the time the Elden Ring came out. So, you know, what are you gonna do about it? No. Where am I going? Sorry, I was wondering why it took me to that map. That boy isn't coming. Stop. Cut it out. I don't think there's any point in me being here right now. Oh god, camera? Did I just turn around? No. I wanted to go up here, though. Okay. At least we got new music. That's exciting. What is over here? Anything? It kind of looks like this is a dead end. Kind of proving to be a dead end. Ooh, money though. Which is good, because I'm starting to get low. Okay, maybe not a proper dead end, but definitely not what we wanted to see. Well, let's get out of here and go back up and try one of the other places. Well, yeah, I was trying to see where I was headed. What's down here? Giant maze. Looked like there was a straight shot to that building in the center. But first, what if I just take a little looky-look, you know? Just a little looky-look. The tiniest of looky-looks. Anything in here? Why is the water yellow? Actually, don't answer that. I don't know that I want to know. What's in here? Is this where I can awaken a hero? Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks to Realms of the Haunting. Why does this place look so much like, oh, what was that place called? Shit, I don't remember, but it had the, like, mechanical cat. We couldn't figure out how to get past for a while. Talking about that game, and I just really liked it, you know? What the fuck? What is this map? Why is there so much money down here? Why am I getting so little money when there's so much money? Oh, is that the wrong one? Doesn't help that they're very similar colors. Okay, I found the money. Still think we should be able to pocket what's on the floor. If you're asking me, though. Well, hey, I found all of the treasures. Good job, me. Any other reason to be here? Doesn't seem like it. How do I get there? Can I get there? It all looks closed. Oh my god. There's no reason to climb all the way up there. Do I have to come back once I've, like, freed this place? Is that what it's trying to tell me? How do I get out? I got in. Now how do I leave? Oh, shit. Go up. Or actually, maybe we do. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, that's where the treasure was. Do I actually have to go all the way back around? This is fine. This is fine. Not even getting up much point from, like, wandering around in here. I just want to leave. How? No, that's not it. Wait. This is the other side. There is not really anything in here. Okay. Good to know that this was also a waste of time. Is it you? Are you how I get out? No. No. This way. I think. Oh god, I hope. I don't want to be in this bad maze hell anymore. I just wanna get out of here. Oh my god. Love it. Love dead ends. Love not going anywhere intelligent, and that frees me. This way? Please. Please. Oh, thank God. What do you mean the door is locked? I just want to cry. Oh. I can go here. What has this done? Oh, jeez. Can we not do the thing that we're doing? Hey, let's not do any of this, please. Stop. Oh my god. Stop! Oh my goodness. Okay. Excuse me. At least we're making progress now. Well, here's the thing. No, why are we throwing me? You were stunned. This is a problem. Okay, let's just get Roberta out here, make her do the work. Because these guys like to just wiggle around way too much. Why is he spinning? Stop going away! Sir, that one hit you! Those are hitting you! Oh. Roberta. You can't just keep missing him. He's right there. That's how I feel about that situation. Let's just... I want to eat that. There we go. Ah. Excuse? Oh god, there were gummies in there. You can't do that! kept seeing dummies, and I keep getting thrown because I can't see what's happening because my camera is doing whatever the fuck it wants. Gourd. Please. Y'all can't just say no, you didn't hit me, actually. I can't see. Roberta, you have to face the enemies! Oh my god. I hate her. I hate her so much. And I hate these enemies! There's a reason why I just run past these specific dudes. I can't see. Roberta! You just yell at this idiot. Fuck it. Fuck it, I spam. Oh! Oh god. Okay, did I do it? What have I won? Which way? This way? Well, there's a statue in here. So hopefully that's a good sign. Take care of those first. Not that they're really yielding much of anything. It's just a dusty boy. Me this week.
Cleverness and courage win the day, traits that always lead to victory over any foe. Take my token and know this truth. When you need my aid, I will come to your call.
You're just giving me a fork, sir. Thanks. Thanks for the fork. Alright, get me out of here. I hate it in here. I never want to be in here again. Oh, thanks. Are there shops here? In fact, there are. Wonderful. I don't know that I have enough to, like, purchase anything. Kinda out of money, you see. There's this Chicado just hanging out. This chocolate tomato. Lucky. What do you have for sale, sir? That is so expensive. Wasn't that much more expensive. How much is it? 4,500. Okay. I need, like, all of that. It does say that there's a couple of treasures around here, and I'm not seeing it. Okay, well, fuck you too, Bremner. What do you want? Here to look at your wares, but I'll take my money elsewhere, I suppose. What else is there? An arcane shop over this way. Not entirely sure what those, aforementioned treasures might be. Wait. Get me up there. Treasure? What are you doing? Door, why? I was trying to turn around. Well, that's not much of anything. Okay, what do we have in here? It's moats and the one map. Can I talk to you? Okay. Well, what map did I get? Park District map. Is that for here? No, this is the Arena District. Still not sure where those treasures are. Not entirely sure that I care. Care a little bit, just because it could be money. And I am in need of some Neopoints. Would love to have some points so that I can buy some things. What's here? Way that I've just jumped in without even questioning anything. Secret sewers. Why are they secret? Do the Altadorians not like to talk about the fact that they all poop? Because it's fine. Everybody poops. Okay. Slorg. Big slorg. Not freeze. Anything else? Where is that coming from? Sir, I cannot see you. Oh my goodness. Go down there in a minute. But first... Oh god. Before I progress too far that way. Jesus. Money? No. Yeah, I know what they do. You've told me lots of times, buddy. We know. Excuse me. Excuse? 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 Okay. Bud. We gotta talk about this horrible freezing bite thing that you do. I just need everything to stop hitting me all at the same time, please. Camera, I also need you to function. I know I'm asking for a lot right now, okay? But the thing is, I need all of this. My god. Alright. Open. Health! Wonderful. Glad I did not heal ahead of time. Genuinely. Alright, what's in here? Oh, jeez. Alright. Is that all that was down here? I don't know that that was entirely worth it. How many points do I have? Now we have 517. Not what we were looking for. I mean, it could have been worse, but it also could have been better. You know? Okay, well, let's get out of the bad sewers, please. I don't want to be here anymore. I would like to go. Thanks! Salvia, thank you for the bubble. How's it going? How are you doing? Is there anything else around here? Again, it says the treasure exists, but I think it might be lying to me. And that's a little rude. I've done nothing to deserve this. Okay, we'll come back for that wand later. Once I've managed to get some money, because as it currently stands, we are broke. Actually, is there treasure in here? No. Okay, well, sucks. Get me out of here. That means I have to go back. The bazaar, right? So that I can like, get whoever was there. Presumably it's like each, there's gonna be 4 of them. Well. Excuse me. Did not mean to do that, but let's attack the air anyway. Oh no. Nope. Nope. We leave. It is time to go. Alright. Camera. Why have we put a book in the water? Stop jumping away! Where are you going, Tor? I'm just gonna yell at this boy this entire stream. That's what this is now. Oh my word. Okay. I'm gonna cry. Holy shit. Is there something that I'm supposed to do in here? Aside from look at all the books. Excuse me? Oh. Okay, I don't really care to do the reading. Hi, Barry! How's it going? How are you doing? Happy Saturday. It's Saturday, right? Yes. I worked this morning, so I forgot what day it was to an extent. It's fine. We're allowed to forget. Probably. Can I just leave? Can I not be there? Or is that where I'm supposed to be? That feels like that's kind of where I'm supposed to be. Watering the crops. Nice. How are you? I am so thankful it's the weekend. It's been an incredibly hectic week is probably the nicest and most accurate way to put it. It's just like everything has happened this week. We've managed it. We got through it. We've done the things. But, ooh boy. Excited to just have a couple of days off. Is this? Tor. That was scary. He was just doing those jumps by himself. Okay. Well, I'm glad that that's the way we needed to go. Right? Weekend. So I get to do all sorts of cooking and Thor. Lots of cooking, lots of just hanging out and not actively stressing about a whole bunch of stuff. We saved the stress for the weekdays. If only it were so easy. But no, it's gonna be nice. Yeah. Push that there. Make that do its thing. Now what? Oh yeah, I think my aunt and I are gonna planning to spend some time together in the near future. I'm very excited about that. I haven't seen her since before my surgery. It's been a minute. Or what are you doing? Oh my gosh. Okay. No more mazes, please. I don't know that I can stomach another maze. Okay. That's fine. Who's attacking me? Can they not see I'm already in enough pain? There's a treasure here. Somewhere. Oh my god. Camera. Not there. Not there. These are all dead ends. Not here. Well, nothing in any of those. Why? Oh, hi. Oh god. Well, this is not helpful. Oh, actually, maybe it was. I take it back. I got preemptively annoyed. It's unnecessary. I didn't have to be annoyed at all, actually. Well, I wouldn't say I didn't have to be annoyed. Look. Here. There's only one guy left. He was too high up, but now he's on the ground. But I'm just gonna go away. How about that? I have to, like, make my way to the other wall in order to flip another switch. How many switches are we talking? There it is. I see it. Ah! Great. Although, if it could stop moving everything around, that would be lovely too. Look. I can barely tolerate mazes on a good day. So, you know, can't say I'm too pleased about the state of things. I just want to be done. I just want to not be here anymore. You know? Is this? Why are there so many switches? Should have probably saved this for after that so I could feel good. But what if I crack open my prize right now? Wow, what a prize! Oh no, it's one of these. Never mind, it's not one of these. Okay, whatever. The door's open. That's all I care about. Oh no, there's an extra enemy there. Cool. Just another dude I'll run past. Listen. Whoop! Okay. What's this? Pretty! Hello. How is it going? How are you doing? Okay. Gotta say hello to all the friends. Oh, I should have left that one in place. Oh well. We'll just spin it around all the way, just because we can. Oh my gosh. Great. You know what? This one, not as bad as it could be. Alright. That's where that go. And twice on this one? Yeah. We have made a key. Look at that! I got very scared that it was not going to default to back to where it was before, but it's fine. It's doing what it needs to. We've only gone and done it. What has that done? Leads us down. Great. I should save and also get rid of that. Save. Don't know that I like this. Coins. He was here and then he vanished. He still had health. I don't know where he went. Oh, there he went. I see him. He sure is there. You can't hit me through the solid... Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Alright. Looky here. Great. No. 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 Why is that not hitting him? Please. Please, Roberta, grab the thing. They just endlessly spawn, huh? God. That way. I just want all these demons to leave me alone. You know? I don't know why that's so... Why that seems to be asking too much. Where is he gone? Ugh. Okay. Excuse me. Ugh. Is it faster to do it this way? It seems like it is. I think it might be a little quicker to grab it from the side. Roberta, you don't need to be making these noises. Like, girl, chill. It's fine. My god. There we go. Okay. You're another dude. I think I should be allowed to not deal with any more guys. Another dusty boy. So dusty. Again, why has no one else tried this?
Thank you, my friends. Here is a token of my appreciation and a mere pittance for your troubles. Should you ever have need of my services, feel free to give me a call.
Okay. Thanks. Actually, thank you. Thank you. Where's that from? I realize, like, that's not, like, enough context for literally anything, but, whatever. Alright, where to next? And or, what is here? What is this mail place? I don't need potions. Post office. Can't go in. Have you just marked a post office on my map and are just not gonna let me go in? Seems a little rude if you ask me. Where is the magic shop? There it is. What do you got here? A map? And then moats. Oops, all moats. nothing else really. You know, it says that there's treasure, but we know that that's a lie. We don't trust it when it tells us that there are treasures. That does appear to be the darkest fairy, though. Bro, even in that, she looks evil. Not that we're here to judge on appearances. Lord knows that is not our jam. However, in this here dang video game, do you think I can get my money back by, or get more money by gambling? Y'all want to gamble some more? Oh, jeez. Rude. Okay. I've won back 40? I've spent 100 and I win back 40? Unacceptable. Fuck. I hate this. I just want money. Just give me the money. Okay. Genuinely cannot stress enough how much this this particular area reminds me of the one set of levels in Realms of the Haunting. Maybe it's just like the aesthetic choice, but I mean, with the addition of mazes and silly, goofy puzzles as well, just reminds me of it. I've also just been thinking about Realms of the Haunting a lot recently, and how much I liked it. I want to find another game like it. Can't break those ones. Oh my god. Stop! Rude. Not there. We're going to the park. Hence Park District. The thing is, I know there's plenty of, like, point-and-click adventure-ish games. Just, I don't know, there was something about Realms of the Haunting in particular that was just incredibly endearing. And I don't know that I can find another game like it. Which is fine, because that makes it just incredibly unique and lovely, but also incredibly sad, because I want to play other things like it. Oh, excuse! The fuck? Okay, how do I get into the park? Can't you? Can I? No. Sure seems locked. Hell. Excuse me. So what's over here that can allow me to get into there? Tor, what the fuck? Okay, well they did at least give me sparkles to look for. I appreciate that. Port, you have to jump over the roof. Thank you. My god. Okay. Sorry that it's just me screaming at this game today. That's just what we get to deal with. Give me the treasure, and I swear to God, if it's not money, I will riot. Ugh! That's not money! That's me rioting, by the way. In case you couldn't tell. It's true, I do gotta riot now. Do I have to do a bigger riot than what I just did? Because I can. It just might have to wait a little bit. I just want money. Well, hey, I've earned back half of what I lost. I did wait my arms a lot. It took a lot of energy, honestly. A pretty big riot. Alright, cool. As long as we can all agree on that. I had contemplated yeeting the controller as a joke, and then I was like, no, I will actually damage something doing that, and that's not worth it for the bit. So, I had considered that. Just know, I had thought of something, and then was concerned about the possible destructive repercussions that would come from it, and thought better of it. Oh, I have cherries on my desk still. Can I offer you a cherry in these trying times? Oh, my dried cherries. That was money, and that was nice. And see how much money I got, but it was money. Cool boy, sure was muns. Oh my god. I was trying to play some balloons this morning. Where did you come from? I was trying to play some balloons this morning so I could level up the new guy. And it's a bad idea for me to play by myself, specifically doing all like the stupid challenges that they have. Because I got like unnecessarily mad about it. Like I got more mad about it than I would say than I get playing a Souls game, but I don't get like too mad playing Souls games. I get a little tilted sometimes. What are you doing? I was heckin' annoyed. Okay, how the fuck? Just how the fuck? Full stop. That's the question. Okay, that's that guy handled. This is too many dudes. Okay. Now... I need there to stop being guys here so I can figure this out. Where are you shooting, Roberta? Okay. So what do I put here? What is there to put here? I don't see anything to drag. hate this. I hate endlessly spawning dudes. Why are there so many dudes? Where? I don't see anything that I can drag, you know? I'm not supposed to use Roberta's shitty spring forward move, right? That's too far away. I mean, there's a lot of pets there, so maybe I have to use them. There's nothing out here to drag either, right? That seems like a really far way to drag. Also, I don't know that I can drag them over the bridges. What do these little guys do? Can I be... Wait! No. Okay. Sir, you have to move. Because that guy's staying there. They're both staying there. No. No. Well, one of them stayed there. And the other was kind of staying there. Fuck off! Hit on the pressure plate, you piece of shit frog! No, no, stay on there. Get on! Where's the other one? Get on! Get on! We do like frog, however, these frogs are being very rude. And also, there's all these guys that I hate who are here as well. No! Stay on! I hate everything. Get on there. Get on there. Get on the pressure plate. Yes, I know. It's open. Okay. I swear to God. Get me in there. Oh. I am losing my mind. Okay. Look, I just needed the frogs to cooperate. Just this once. What? I don't understand. No more pressure plates. Okay. Oh, it's timed. Oh, it's like super timed. How am I supposed to get there in a timely fashion? Like, I know I fucked around a little bit, but not that much. Oh. Okay, go away. I could kill all these guys, but I feel like that's gonna take even longer than if I just ignore them and run past them, you know? So what if I just ignore them and run past them? Even though they're zoomy little dudes. I don't know that I can make this. This doesn't feel doable. It must be, though. This way. Nope. Excuse me, coming through. Fuck. I'm gonna get right to the end, and then it's gonna be like, haha, jokes! Motherfucker! This is impossible. Fuck off, dude. This is doing no damage to him. Why are they invincible? Stop chomping my ass! Is there another way I can go? I don't think so. It sure doesn't look like it. I know I went the wrong way a couple of times. Yeah, there's literally no other way. Okay. Bro, fuck off! I felt like oh my god, go away! This is not possible. I'm cutting all the corners. I'm doing it right. Fuck off. Leave me alone. Don't close, don't close, don't close, don't close, don't close. Okay. Apparently I did waste that much time by turning into the wrong thing. Okay. It's fine. Nope, okay. Okay, we'll just... You can't just block every single attack I do! I can't see. Okay. Who's next? That's what I fucking thought. Okay. We're fine. Everything is fine. We're not even that mad. Excuse me? Not you. Have to sneak. have to. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm gonna slaughter these fucking things. Actually do murders on these stupid mice. Oh. How do I catch them? I don't remember how to catch them. I found it. I figured it out. It told me this time. It didn't tell me last time, but it told me this time. It's so slow. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, if he didn't put it in there, I don't know what I was gonna do. Wasn't gonna be great, though. Did I scare it? No. It has no idea I'm here. Sir? Okay. Why does the music keep doing that? Why does it just keep stopping? Okay. What's over here? Before I keep chasing these godforsaken mice. Not worth it. Hate that, actually. What's up here? Something worth it? Probably not. That was the only treasure that's here. Yeah. Okay. I just wanna catch the mice. I just wanna get the mice. Let me get them. You don't see me. I am not here. I don't know where the other one is. Oh, nope. I know where it is. It is coming back this way. Whatever. You're gonna see me, and you're gonna see me throttling this little guy. This is what's gonna happen to you, motherfucker! Anyway. That's how I feel about this situation. Where is it? I hate how slow this whole process is. You piece of shit. Where are you going? You have to stop running. Why are you running? Why are you running? Okay. Fine. You know what? This worked out in my favor because now it's closer to the thing. Great. Love it. Grab it. Hold on. I don't think my chair is as straight as it needs to be. Only thing straight about this space. There we go. That is better. That didn't help that I was, you know, shrimping. Not the dark Harris. Hey, come here. Come here. Come on. I mean, you gotta. Look, you gotta. Anytime you're chasing someone or they're running, you gotta go, why are you running? Why are you running? It's just required. It's the same sort of situation when somebody's lying and you just gotta sing, you know, why you always lie, and it's just required. Thank you, Vine, for providing the ultimate brain rot for the entirety of my life. It's just the done thing, you know? Alright, buckos, let's go! Can that count? I had all 3 of them in there. That counts, right? Oh, you bastard. Okay. Come on. Come on. How are these? Okay, it's fine. There are some levels in the Elden Ring DLC like this. I think there's some in the base game too, but definitely the DLC. Ah! They are like murder koalas. This is what koalas would be like if they weren't high on eucalyptus all the time. It's just, listen, tiny criminals, you know? I think they're called Harris? Drop bears. Not actually bears. It's true. They're not. They're not koalas. Koalas are not bears. That's just not... Oh god, I have to chase more fucking creatures onto things. You motherfucker. Okay. This stupid lady likes pets, and I don't like her. Wait, isn't this the lady from the kitchens? I know we've, like, met some of the heroes already. Like, 3 of them? 2 of them, at least. 2 of them, for sure. There's the lady that gave Roberta her necklace. And then there's the guy that gave us our necklace, Tor his necklace. He's saying that like you never play as Roberta. Fine, fucking did it. It's done. It's done. I'm pretty sure that's the lady from the kitchens, though. Ma'am, I hate the animals that you keep.
I am pleased to see such kind souls have returned to the city.
Cool.
Here, take this, a token of my
listen.
goodwill.
Don't listen back to everything I said and how I was gonna throttle your mice and kill all the aminals. That definitely never happened. Get me the fuck out of here. Oh my god. Alright. Well, hey. We've done it. Horrible shrine. Awful shrine. Hated that shrine. Set it on fire. Shop of chocolate. Nope, not chocolate. I'm thinking of the chocolate tomatoes. Shop of egg. Oh. I shouldn't go, because I still need like 2,000 points before I can buy Roberta a new weapon, and I think I desperately need a new weapon for her. But also, what if they have health? What if they have a health thing for me? Okay, nope, it's fine. It's fine, we're ignoring it. It's not there, it doesn't exist. I'm just gonna run into the edges. The corners. gonna be great. We love it. It's our favorite. It's great. Okay, where the fuck is the shrine here? I don't know, but there is a treasure over here. There. Treasure. Coins? Yep, another one. Another supernova mote. Ooh boy, what a great thing to have. I'm not upset. Okay, I'm here. Okay, there's that guy handled. Can we not do that? Roberta, he's right there. I hate it when they do that. Where have you gone? Why is that not going anywhere? Gosh. Okay. Give me your money. Well, where did it go? There are a lot of sounds happening. Where? What is it doing? Why is it doing this? I don't understand. I don't think it understands. I think there's just a lot of confusion happening on all fronts right now. Because, Okay. Where? Just where? Where do we go? Well, that seems to be where it's centered. So there? Well, that seems very incorrect. Look. Dude. I don't got time for your nonsense right now, okay? Yeah. Just grab me when I'm killing your friend. Great. Cool. A thing that I already have had before and don't really want to get. Stop! Stop! Right? What are these sounds? There were too many of those sounds. Oh, you're not gonna go the longest way possible. Alright. We save. I'm pretty sure I had walked past these guys before and wasn't allowed to interact with them, but whatever. We figured it out. We're in more secret sewers. Oh boy, aren't we excited about the sewers. Why is this hallway so long? Oh god, and I'm slowed. I mean, please don't stop me now? Don't stop me now! Okay. What was the point of that? Oh god. I did not read that as grunt. I fully missed that there was R in there. And it's fine. Fine. Okay, we go up. Stop me now. Thanks. That's gonna be stuck in my head all day now. Could be worse. Could be worse things. Alright. Bro, I hadn't even touched it yet. Wait, am I... Not happy about that. I thought I was past that one. Apparently not. How am I supposed to get through it? Wait, is there a place for me to hook shot? No. Do I have to sneak? No. No, I'm confused. Sorry. Listen, like I said, there are worse things to have stuck in my head. We were playing Bloons last night, and Luna started singing, like, that Bon Jovi song, the whoa! Living on a Prayer, that's it. Rest of the evening. That's all that was going through my noggin. Can I... What am I supposed to do here? What am I supposed to do? We are too good at balloons. It's true. What the fuck am I supposed to do here? I don't understand. Need a special harder mode just for us. Normal game is just too easy. I mean, we could always play chimps. We could always do the chimps. Horrible. Awful. Chimps. What the fuck am I supposed to do? What the fuck does it want? That's what I'm saying. Listen, do we actually want a harder mode? Or do we just want to just revel in the fact that we're just too good at normal balloons? Okay. Impoppable. Okay. I mean, I'd be down to try some impoppable. Hold on. You know what I'm gonna do? Fucking look it up, because I don't know what it wants from me right now. What is this? understand. I've tried jumping across. I've tried sneaking. I've tried wearing my stupid little cloak. I just want to know how to do them. I love that all of, like, the things that I'm finding are from, like, 2007. Wait, there's a fucking button down there? What are you talking about? I'm a touch upset about that one. I don't know why, but I just thought those barrels were not breakable. I am a fool, apparently. Oh my lord. Oh, hi. Oh. I do! This is true, I do normally smash every object. I just, like... It would be the one time that I don't. I don't know why, but I thought for some reason that those specific barrels, like that type of barrel could not be smashed. But it could, and needed to be. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna... I mean, it was my own dang fault. What's here? What? Oh. Oh. I know where I am. Okay. This is fine. Now we know. And now we can move on. Oh my god. Okay. And now we look for another button. Also, doesn't help that, like, not seen a button that looked like that before. They've always been switches, you know? Levers. Get them out of here. Okay, this is fine. Nope, don't go up there. Where is... You prefer button to lever? Well, I don't have a strong preference for either. I would just like for the game to remain consistent. You know? If it's gonna do button, do button. If it's gonna do lever, do lever. But literally up until this point, it's always been lever. Sometimes it is the wrong lever. But then you can go wrong lever! And that's kind of fun. So, you know. I think that's the silver lining to a wrong lever kind of situation. Said the grunt. Tor, turn around. Thank you. Found it. Found button. Excuse you! You can't just hit me! Well, I'm in a goddamn cutscene! Unacceptable! Please. Sorry, I'm like leaning on my desk funny and it's hurting my elbows. What's up here? That's up here. Okay, but what's... Where does this other one go? No. Oh, it's just a dead end, but it does have a treasure. So I'm not too upset about that. And I get the money. Not a ton, but a bit. We're like, what, like 1,000 or something off from that, new weapon? So that's exciting, I think. I'm excited about it. Oh god, I've already been here for 2 hours. Jeez. Despite all of my complaining about this silly little video game, I am still having fun. It just like begs the question of like, how the fuck did I beat any video game as a child? Like, I definitely did not beat this one until I was like a bit older. But like we've been talking about games in general a lot, like from our childhood. And I remember playing, like I've talked to you, Fruity, specifically about this one, but like I played Enter the Matrix a shit ton as a kid, and I know we've like come to the conclusion that, you know, the reason why like as children we were able to like beat shit is just because we had time. But it's still just like wild that like now I'm thinking about the Smashing Pumpkins. It's still wild that, like, I managed to, like, get through any video game ever. And it's just weird. Children are powerful creatures. Weird little dweebs. Despite all my rage, I'm still just right in the game. Classic. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, my elbows hurt. And don't fall down there. Or, what are you doing? Bud, don't think about it. Oh my goodness. No yawns. Don't do it. Wait. Why am I here? This isn't where I want to be. God. Okay. How do I turn on the last ones? Don't step on the wrong thing. Okay, that's how I get out. But that's the only option. Unless they were rude and hid it in here, which does not look like they did. Then I have to go up the ladder. Did I miss a different doorway? I can't go down there. Not me getting ready to just like hit every single wall as if there's gonna be a secret behind one of them. Hi, I've been playing Elden Ring. I'm good at video games. I swear. Okay, I opened all of these. Actually doing it. The only one that actually had a ladder behind it was the tall one. So why did I open up all these? Just because there was a button? I mean, that's a very, like, me thing to do. No. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you tricksy bastards. Gotta press the button. There were buttons, and we pressed them, and now we jumped down into the hole, and I'm mad that that was a thing. Okay. Ah. Not worth it at all. Great. This better take me where I can flip the switch and be able to get past that last little section. I know I missed the one. I don't care. Oh, rude. Absolutely rude. Okay. Well, away we go. I just want to leave the bad hole. I don't want to be in the bad hole anymore. Can I please leave the bad hole? Thanks. I'm gonna be a little careful about how I cross these because the last thing I want to do is end up in the pit again. You know? There would be nothing worse than getting this far and then having to traverse all that bullshit again. So let's not have that happen. And let's successfully get over there and not do anything anymore. Man's shrine is in a literal sewer. Imagine. All these other people get these extravagant, beautiful buildings, and you get to sit in literal shit. How does that feel? Oh god. Hold on. What's over here? Where does this go? Actual dead end. Okay. Cool. Glad I wasted my time on that. You know what I'm gonna do after this? I'm gonna make myself a big ol' salad. And then I'm gonna play some Heretics 4. And I'm gonna have a nice time. Not that this isn't a nice time, but it sure is a time that is being had. Sounds good. Thank you for stopping in, Barry. It's always a delight to have you here. Have a good day as well. Thank you for the well wishes and saying hey. Have a good day. Okay. I love to hear it. It's nice, even when it's just me being a goober and just yelling constantly about this very silly video game that I'm playing. No, you don't see me. Oh, shit. Okay. Bro! No stomps. You don't get to stomp on me. Okay. Have I done it? No. Why not? Okay. I kind of understand what's going on. I have to push the button so it can't see me, and if it spots me, then I can't activate the thing. It's time. But I don't understand what happened with the first one. In the first room, because I don't think it worked the way it was supposed to. Or maybe it did. Before we hit that, I want to find the button. Yeah, I know you can see me. I understand that you can see me. The point is not to not be seen right now. I'm just trying to see where button is. Perceive me all you want, buddy. Okay, it's there. I understand. Did you? My boy did not enjoy it. Understandable. It's not great. I wouldn't recommend this particular bad room. But, you know, it's not the worst. I still think the last bit was the what? I might retract that statement. Okay. Yeah, I might retract that statement. Okay, you don't need to tell me that it's open. I understand that it's open. You are wasting my time. Fuck off! Do I have to go hit the button again? Like the close the eye button again? Oh my god. Stop jumping on me. Stop throwing me. You are in the way. Ugh. Please face the man that is alive and actively trying to kill you, Tor. Okay. They don't stop spawning. They don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. They don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. They don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. They don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. Okay. No! I think they spawn. You press the first button, but they're invisible. I mean, yeah, but it's still stupid and annoying, and I don't understand how I'm supposed to get through. How am I supposed to get through? Are there other buttons? Because I only see the one. Do I have to be quiet? That doesn't make sense, because he's a goddamn eyeball. And when I press the close your eye button again... Fucking kidding me. When I press the close your eye button again, the thing went up. And I don't understand how or why. I don't need a cutscene every single time, okay? I understand. You gotta open your eyeball. I don't understand how any of that worked. Is it because there was no noise? I still stand by that not making any sense because the dude's an eyeball. I sure did dang do it. However, I don't understand how I did it. And that's gonna bother me. Because I don't understand. Video that didn't either. Okay, so we're all a little lost. Like, the only thing that was different that time was... Oh, fuck off, dude. There are two of them. There's a button. And there's a button. I'm stuck. Tor? Somebody hit me. I am hitting all of the buttons. And they're all just staring at me. Where was the last save? Okay, I'm gonna do it then, right? Where I... Still perpetually falling. Okay. Let's go ahead and reset. I saved after one of the eyeballs, right? I must have. Why is it like...
There are legends that dwell within the hidden.
I don't care about the legends. I don't give a shit. Okay, well, at least we're in the sewer shrine. How far back am I, though? Hi, Senator Armstrong. How is it going? Okay, you know what? We might save state after this one. Just to be safe. Because I don't like it. Nope. Okay, so it is literally that despite the fact that the guy is an eyeball, he hears it. I appreciate the tip, but also just as a general reminder that this is a no backseating channel. Okay, close your eye. Please? Close your eyeball. Okay. I just want them to not be around anymore. Do that. And then they stay away so that I could get through. So that the eyeball doesn't hear them. And he's gonna hear them because everything is shaking. Never mind, he's not gonna hear them. Thank you, Senator. I appreciate it. Okay. We got through the bad room again. I'm just trying to wrap my head around the whole eyeball hears you. And again, I am just gonna be not the horrible ear balls. I am doing a save state just so I don't have to keep doing that last bit again. Okay. This is the first time that we have resorted to it. For this particular game. And I don't feel any shame about it. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay! And look, didn't even need to use a save state. Oh my god, I never want to do any of that ever again. Just straight through, first try. Oh, let me save. Let me do an actual save, please and thank you. There we go. Okay. Now what? Now a horrible thing isn't gonna do. This is the first person that she's ever pointed out and been like, oh, it's this guy. Not eyeball. Ear hole. We don't. We don't, because the cutscene is wasting all of our time. Grab it. Grab it. Fuck. Why are we splitting up? What is the plan here? Nope, not there. Also not there. Whore? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're right. I'm the fool. He's not gonna make it. Are we just gonna keep doing this over and over again? I do like that it wastes, like, 5 seconds of my time by just, like, watching it. Okay. Well, you know what? This could be worse. At least the things are moved. And I'll waste a little less time because I kind of know which direction I'm going this time. It's nice of it to just reset itself. Tor, you have to grab the ledge, bud. It said, "Oh, hey, you kind of messed up a little bit. Here, let me just go back to the starting position for you." Ooh, what? Oh. Okay. Did I do it? Does Roberta have to do it as well, though? Yeah, she does. Alright. Nope! Well. Again, nice of it to just start over. Because it's not always been that kind, you know? Roberta! You can't just phase through the thing. I know I'm being a little, like, you know, impatient by making you jump on the thing that makes us go slow, but also consider... Get good. Because obviously this is exclusively her fault. Stop. Can I just do Tor's section again? I liked his. I take back any and all complaints I had about what Tor was having to do. Okay. Alright. This is fine. Why? Why did you do that? Where are you going? Why does it start me looking at the chasm and not the direction it wants me to run in? I have many a question and not nearly enough answers. Where are you going? What are you doing? You absolute goon. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We've done it. We've retained our cool. We're not tilted in the slightest. Maybe just a little tilted. Not another wind! Okay, I take it back. I am full tilt. You motherfucker! Please! Where are you going? I dropped too late. Okay. Okay. Or... Nope. Dropped too soon. I could just drop onto the ledge, the solid ledge, but what if I jumped onto the trampoline like a badass? Like that. Okay. Alright, we're doing it. It's happening. I've already lost what I was doing and what was occurring. And Roberta would rather just climb up a ledge than actually do anything intelligent. Understood. Please. Please. No! Why does it take like a full jump before she gets any air? Roberta, you bitch! I hate her. I hate her so much. She's the goddamn worst. It's also just not... Look, despite the fact that this game wants you to platform regularly, it's not good at it. And so having to do these, like, obstacle course type things is not the most ideal. How am I supposed to get there? How am I supposed to get to the thing? How do I grab the wire? How do you rope? Okay, I don't need to see this rise up every single time that I fail. Thank you for telling me. This is worse than Elden Ring telling me you died every single time I die. Am I supposed to drop down on that ledge back there to do it? And I swear to God, if I can grab onto that. No. Okay. No, because I can't get there. So how is this supposed to work? I have questions. Nope. Nope. Is it because this one's not tall enough, so I have to do it from this one? But then how do I get there? Sorry. We're just a little upset. You see, the thing is, we're just the tiniest bit annoyed about whatever this whole situation is, right? And I hate that I've, like, spent, like, what feels like an eternity here. How am I supposed to grab that? I have questions that no one is answering. What am I supposed to do? Obviously, rhetorical. What? What? Literally can't form any other question than what? I can't get up there. Oh my God. Are you for real? Are you actually for real right now? Okay. Well, I figured it out. That was rude. Basically, this entire shrine has just been incredibly rude. From start to finish. Nothing but rudeness. We fucking did it. Okay. Get me out of here. Kick that lizard into the abyss. Horrible creature.
That's much better. I thought you'd be able to do it. If you'd followed a different path in life, you both would have made passable thieves.
Do I know you?
Ah, the boy is sharp. There's hope for you yet. Here's a token of my good favor. Keep it with you and use it to call me when the time is right.
I've freed myself
You're
of some
bright
cherries.
enough
I
to
feel
know
better
when
now.
that is.
So that was a thing that I never want to do ever again in my life. Yeah. Party. Okay. Whoa! I don't have nearly enough money for any of the things around here. It's like 11,000. And then the 4,000. I need like, we're gonna round up, 16,000 to purchase all the things that I want. And I think that's a bit rude. I don't appreciate it. Okay, what is that for? Park District. Legendary shield. What do you mean you can't buy that now? Oh, you were trying to... Legendary shield is how much? 2,500? I'll buy it now. So yeah. 16,000. Oh boy! I don't have to. But I want to. I want to buy all the things. Saimu! How's it going? How are you doing? Oh, come on in, pal. I am going the wrong way. I know what I'm doing. No, none idea. I keep getting lost, and that's a problem. For me, specifically. We do want to go to the park, because... treasure. Possibly money. Okay, where is the park? Please load. This one, I think. Okay. Where is that in here? In that corner in here? Or in the corner out there? Just dunk ourselves in the piss water. Okay. Okay, well that's... I can't say that's a small amount of money. That was a decent amount of money. You okay, enjoying having 2 days off this last week? Nice! I am glad that you got some time off. Very important. And that you're doing alright. It's been a minute. I've been busy as a whole. I feel like I like haven't like I mean I'm starting to like be able to like do shit again. Energy levels have been great post surgery, but like now it's everything else that's keeping me busy. Only just starting to get to hang out with friends again. Or chat with folks during streams. What am I doing? Just getting things. Okay. We've awoken all the heroes, right? So we can go back in here and do a thing. I don't really have enough to buy any of the other items I wanted. I think I'm gonna switch back to those. Because I have a million of them. Where the fuck is the door? Oh, found it. Never mind. Everything is fine. We have located the door. We can go into the building. Ooh, where are you going? Sup, y'all? Okay, everyone's just like, free Jordana. I can do that. I suppose. Let's get her out of that stone. Whatever. Well, not the cutscene, assuming I had money.
You aided us to rid the land of the Darkest One's taint.
There is, however,
Taint.
one last task to complete.
I'm
Since
an adult.
you began your journey, we've done our best to help you. As beggar,
A helpful wandering merchant.
A noble man at
Oh!
arms.
Cleaning woman.
and knightly mentor.
But for Altador to live again, you must go to a place where we
Whoa.
cannot help.
Okay, wait, no,
Jordana,
that makes
the
sense.
sorceress, who has kept us safe all these years, is trapped in the heart of the city by the last echo of the Darkest One's power. You must go there into Hero's Rest to free Jordana so that Altador can rise again. Will you do this?
Yes.
Then be off.
Better have a lot of money down there or I'm gonna be mad. Cool, thanks for the sword. But I definitely didn't waste money on a different sword. A little annoyed. It's fine. Roberta doesn't get shit. I don't like Roberta anyway. Fuck Roberta. Alright, how long is this staircase? 'Cause I think this is long enough. Call me crazy, but alright. Let's save. Right. Enter? Okay, don't walk on the things? Oh no. Let go! Grab. He wouldn't grab it from the other side. This fucking guy. Yeah, he just doesn't want to grab it, despite the fact that it says grab. Oh, goodness. No, don't do that. What are you doing? I love not being able to see what's happening. It's my favorite. Okay. Can I push it this way? Let go. I have pressed the square button. Therefore, let go. Oh my goodness. Okay. Not... I can't see. I can't see. Okay. That's kind of been my question about a lot of the things that we've come across in this game. I just like I said, like I don't remember it being this wiggly as a kid, but granted, I don't even remember it being this wiggly like the last time I actually completed it, but memory's a funny thing. It's just very time consuming. And it doesn't need to be, but here we are. Doing these horrible things anyway. Where can I go? What's the next available place to go? Camera? Bud, I'm gonna need you to cooperate here. Okay. Well, I made it through. So that's nice. Can I hit you? Does that help? Good. We've done one of them. Oh god, are they all gonna be like that? Push that in there. Oh, yeah, please don't all be like that. I'm also just gonna save after every single one of them on the off chance that they give me a puzzle that I can die at. Okay. Well. Oh. Hold on. There is just the slightest difference in color on some of these blocks. Oh god. Please. No. Okay. That wasn't that bad. That one was easy, actually. I'll take it. And then we'll just push this where it belongs. Or we'll just stand here and just hang out for a minute. Hey, y'all, how are you doing? Alright. Next. Ow. Okay, you know what? That's fine. I can tank these hits. Okay, well, we have gotten confirmation that they're not all like the green one, which is, if you ask me. Alright. Grab. Well, I didn't mean to grab it sideways. Stop. Okay. Look at that. Halfway done. Okay. Oh god. Where am I going next? Oh! Couldn't really see where I was dropping for that one. Oh. Are we already? Oh, no! Oh, no! Okay, nope. No. I got it. I understand. I tried to jump to the right, but it was too late. It was too late. Also interesting to see, just like a tiny little interesting thing for me at least, is that these rooms are just like next to the room that we were in. But, okay. See? That's where all the... There it is. Okay, and then I have to jump to the right. And then we've only gone and done it. I'm not minding these. Green one, minded a bit. These other ones, not so much. Dare I even say I am enjoying them. Maybe not, but, you know. Stop! There are too many dudes here. Okay. 2 more. Let's go. Well, they have the pushing afterwards. I can deal with the afterwards pushing. It's not as bad as the green room. And this is just putting the things in place. I can deal with that. It'd be better if I didn't have dudes attacking me the whole time. But like, this is fine. I hate that I can take damage while it's making me watch me do stuff. Oh, I understand. Last one. There we go. I was a little scared that my Tootsies was gonna touch the no-no square. But it's fine. We got mad hops. Tor, why are we going to the side of the thing, huh? Alright, get it in there. Let's go! Okay. No, stop. Why? Okay, leave. I must leave. I think we're almost done. How close to the end do you think we are? I can't move. I'm not allowed to walk around, and I hate that. There we go. Why? Yeah, I'm not timing the attacks. What about it? I get that this is supposed to be like the powerful lady and stuff, but does she have to have quite this many? Is that necessary? I mean, I think they're gonna say yes. But I don't know, I'm not convinced. It's fine. We'll just go in a little circle, press the little buttons, and then awaken the lady. And be like, yo, lady. Shit's bad out here. Come make it better. And then she'll be like, yeah, okay. And then she will. And it'll be great. And then there won't be any problems. You know? You know? Hold on, I am also just realizing that my light is the wrong color. There we go. That's better. That one. That's what, like 2 or 3 more? Ugh. Too many. They really got to this point of the game and said, we gotta pad that shit. It's like you really don't. Your game's like 12 plus hours as is. I think it's okay. Sorry, where? Okay, so I've just gone in a circle. And... okay, nope, I see. I just didn't look. Oof. Get me out of here. It's time to go. Two more. So when I said 2 or 3 more, I actually meant 4 or 5 more? it's only mildly confusing having it be a circle. Only mildly. Hey, stop. Stop being poisoned. You don't need to be poisoned anymore. Open that. Open the treasure. Useless treasure. It's fine. Let's step on that. And is that it? Is this the statue? Does not look like it is. Okay. Well, I didn't want to be done with this section anyway. This is my favorite part. Actually. Is it just another elevator? It's another elevator. How deep must we go? Oh, I can run around this time. That's nice. All the way, as deep as we can. We must go to the center of the earth. Am I gonna have to use motes to activate this? Or can I just press the buttons? Okay. Keep hitting the wrong button. Stop. Stop. Stop attacking the grunt. And please attack the shrine that's directly in front of us. Thank you. Oh my god. Oh my god. Stop. The one time I don't want him attacking the enemies is the time that he's like, I'm gonna attack them. And it's like, Thor, listen to me. And he says, no, I will not. And I think that's a little rude of him because I kind of know what I'm talking about sometimes. Okay. Gib, I guess. Let's get out of here. Oh boy. Hello.
So you have risen to the potential that I first saw in you. A powerful sorceress, worthy of the forces she wields.
You were the one who gave me my amulet.
Yes. And when you both are ready, when you both choose to go, I will return you to do battle with the Darkest Faerie.
But how can we defeat her?
With this. The orb that froze her in time. Faerie used it to turn the Darkest Faerie to stone and imprison her under the sea. When you are ready, call, and I will return you home.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to go home now. Because it's not like I'm gonna be able to afford any of the goodies that you got here, so... You know... Ma'am, let's get out of here. Oh, okay. Let me know and I'll send you back. Just step through the portal. Okay. Whatever you say. I guess she is actually doing something, but, you know. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, is this like... Is this it? Is this the battle? Is this it? Is there a safe spot in here? No. Okay, well. Let's go, bitch!
It is done! I will be remembered forever as the one who destroyed 2 kingdoms at once!
What have you done?
It's falling!
And when it lands, all of Meridel and Fairyland will be obliterated!
Yeah, but are we mad about that? Gasp! Okay. Game, what do you want? You want me to... Can you change? I'm not allowed to change. Okay, I am stuck as Tor. Which, like, on its own, fine. Oh, she was still stunned. Okay. Well. Ma'am. Okay, instead of just sending out dudes, can you, like, shoot at me? Like, actually and properly? Is this it? Is this what... Are we doing it? Oh, okay. Now we're here. Okay, this is too many guys. Roberta, you have to aim upwards. Have we done it? Get that lady out of that bottle.
It's too late!
There's still time enough.
The biggest magic. Wow, only just. Jesus.
For courage, bravery, and chivalry of the highest measure, we bestow upon Tormund of Meridel and Roberta of Brightvale the honor of Defender of the Realms.
When did my mom and dad get here? Oh. Screw it, I don't want to be Roberta.
Huh?
Stupid sister. Wonderful. Cool. How do I leave Fairyland? Can I leave Fairyland? Why does she look so mad when she's saying that? Like, she straight up looks disgusted. Ugh, you're heroes. Yeah, Illison. I fucking am. Can we go back to Meridel? Is this how we go? Maybe she's the second darkest fairy? I'd believe it. She now knows what she's up against, and she's like, horrible. Toe rack. Okay, cool. Can I leave now? I just wanted to go back to Meridel. Oh god, now I have to go talk to Fiora. Okay. Ma'am, take me back to Meridel. I hate it here. I want to go home. I have quests I have to turn in.
Thanks. Because of you, Altador is restored to Neopia, and Neopia is safe from a most pernicious influence.
The darkest fairy, if I may ask. What became of her?
Don't worry.
Did you eat her back into the ocean?
Somewhere we can keep a close eye on her.
Lol. Oh god, what was wrong with those children on the right? Hey, we did it! We beat the video game! Although I do want to turn in some quests if it'll let me, because I don't think I was ever allowed to finish some of the quests. But regardless, we did it. And despite much complaining on my part, I do still like this game. And I think it just really just comes down to the fact that it's like, this is a thing that I played as a kid. And I really liked Neopets as a child. And so, that's cool. But this does mean that the next time we stream, we can try and finish up Sly. I think it might take like a stream or two for us to finish the third Sly. I don't remember exactly where we were, like how far into it we were. But we beat a game. And that's really exciting, because it's been a minute since we've done that. I mean, it's been a minute since I've like, you know, done proper streams and stuff. I mean, we've been doing that on the weekend the last couple of weeks, but you know, it's just nice. It's good. It feels nice to have finished a game, even though I'm not allowed to skip the credits. Ayo, we've done it. Yeah, like I said, it's an incredibly silly video game, and it's not like particularly good. Yeah. Sorry, trying to see what's happening. I don't know. Yeah, that's a kid game and it feels like one. I mean, definitely. It's not like this came back out in like 2005. It's been a minute, and they knew their audience. It's just very funny coming back to it as a, you know, as an adult and still being like, I still like this. But I don't know. like I said, I just have like very fond memories of this game, even though like I didn't finish it until I was like a teen. But that's a game that I played as a kid, so and had fond memories of. Ayo. And now I get to finish another game that I played as a kid and have fond memories of, but it's actually a good game. So we'll finish Sly Cooper in the coming week. I'm gonna say week just on the off chance that I don't have time to stream during the weekdays this coming week, because I had planned to this last week, and that plan fell through. God, it's just a fucking week, man. Yeah. I don't know. What's that? These credits are taking so long. And, like, it's not to say that people don't deserve the credit, but also, how many people worked on this? I don't understand. Again, I just wanna see if I can go in and finish up my side quests, but oh, is it done? I don't know the actor for every Neopet and Pet. It's true, and Pet. Not featured heavily in this one are Pets. Pets. Yeah. That's the right amount of it. Okay, so it just kicks me back to the main menu. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to finish up those side quests then. Do it before Meridell gets taken over, I guess. Yeah, so that's all I got for today. We have there are a couple of people online, which you love to see. Let's see. We've got let's go say hi to Johnstruck. John is playing some Devil May Cry 2. And it's been a minute since he streamed at the same time that I have. So if you are going to raid with us, there are our raid messages. First one's everyone. Got global emotes. Second one is for subscribers. It's got channel emotes. And let's start that ding dang raid. But yeah, thank you everyone for being here. We did it. We got through the video game. It's been a minute since I've done that, both for this game and any game, really, it seems like, right now. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here, and we'll see y'all next time. Goodbye, friends.